Hello and welcome back to the channel. I'm Loudguns, and today we're going to be starting a 3-part mini-series looking at all of the ships which are available to purchase in-game for Alpha UEC. So one of the things which really sort of got me back into Star Citizen was the fact that we had sort of persistence between patches, and that you could sort of actually go and buy the ships which CIG have released for in-game currency as opposed to sort of for real-world dollars. Obviously we've got sort of a wipe coming in with 3.15, but I know that for a lot of you, you're going to be sort of planning what you want to get into your hangars and what order you want to do it in, so I thought it was worth sort of going back and taking a look at all of the ships that you could buy. A big focus of my channel is really sort of showing people how they can earn stuff in-game, so for this video we're going to be talking about the prices that the ships are available to buy at the in-game ship shops. I might drop a comment or two about how those prices compared to the price in real-world dollars, euro, yen, but really my focus is going to be on sort of how these ships stack up compared to their in-game price. And I think there are a lot of channels out there which do a really good job of telling you how you should spend your actual hard-earned cash. But I think it's worth reminding people, particularly as we go into sort of sale season, that ships tend to be available for one patch cycle to the people who actually pledged for them and paid real money for them. But then after that patch that they get released in is over and we move on to the next one, they tend to go into the ship shops. So, you know, don't get too caught up in the FOMO is one of my core messages, really. I just want to say a huge thank you to everybody at the Frontier community who helped out with this project. I was donated tens of millions of credits to buy ships, and a lot of people gave up their time to sort of bring stuff out of their hangars and help me out with the making of this video. And that really sums our community up very well, sort of people who'll bend over backwards to help each other out in the verse and do some cool stuff together. So if you fancy coming along and saying hi, there's a link to the Discord just down in the video description below. So you might also have noticed that we've got some awesome backing music, and that's thanks to Honori, who's very kindly let me use that to take the edge off my gravel voice. So she's currently putting together sort of her online profiles and stuff, so as soon as she's got those, then we're going to include links in the video description down below to her channels as well, so please go and check that out because it's really worth listening to. And just before we get going with the first part of this series, if you're watching this as a way to see if Star Citizen's for you, you know, lusting over ships is usually how most of us get started, then just consider using a referral code when you set your account up. So I'm going to flash mine up on the screen, but the important thing is that you use somebody's. This will get you a bit of extra starting cash, and it also has the added benefit for sort of the next month at the time of recording, that you and the person who refer you get an Argo MPUV as well. So don't leave free stuff on the... So as of 3.15 there are 3 places in Stanton where you can buy ships. So the first one is Astra Armada, which you'll find at Area 18 on ArcCorp. If you take the train from the spaceport, you'll just head to the plaza. There's only one train at Area 18, which is nice and simple. So in this shop, you'll walk in, you'll find the terminals over there by an Anvil Hawk, which is neatly on display. And this is one of the coolest things about Star Citizen, sort of even the shopping experience has been thought out. We've also got New Deal, which is at Lawville on Hurston. And this is a really convenient shop to go into, because it's literally at the spaceport. So once you come in off the elevators, just look for this sort of entrance to New Deal, and you'll sort of find there's a proper car showroom feel to it, and you've even got a forecourt where I recorded the intro. And as of the new patch, we've also got the Crusader Industries showroom. So that's at Cloudview Centre on Horizon. That's the platform where the habs are. So there's only a couple of ships available here so far, and they are literally purchased by just walking up to them on the show floor. I'd imagine there's probably more further down the line. There's definitely a spot for an Ares over there, and they might add terminals as well. So for the purposes of this guide, I've just shortened these to AA for Astra Armada, ND for New Deal, and CIS for Crusader. So starting at 5,000 aUEC, we've got the Greycat PTV. This is a little golf cart which was put in as a bit of a joke in the hangar days. But then at 28,086 aUEC, we start with the Tumbril Cyclones, so you'll get everyone in this series. We've got the base version, just the Cyclone. Then we've also got the Cyclone AA, so this is the anti-aircraft variant with some additional guns on the top of it. We've got the RC, which is sort of like trying to drive a rocket ship. This is the racing variant, and it's got added nitro boosters to it. A lot of fun can be had on Daymar with those. We've got the RN, which is the exploration variant, so a little bit heavier and more rugged looking. And then finally we've got the TR combat version, which has got the addition of a turret that a player can man. So those are all available to buy at New Deal. Next up, we've got the Ursa Rover for just over 70k from New Deal. So this is your exploration ground vehicle. Pairs really well with exploration ships like the Aquila or the Carrack. So then at 124k, we finally start talking spaceships with the Aurora ES. So this is the first of the Aurora series, and what I'll probably try and do throughout this is just batch together ships which sort of fit into the same group. So the Aurora is a familiar face for a lot of people as it's their starter ship. And it benefits from having a bed as well, so I always think of it a bit as a space motorhome. The MR variant just offers a bit more pew-pew, so this has got some more powerful guns to it, and some red go faster stripes as well. For 245k, you'll get your hands on an LX, which is the luxury variant of the Aurora, if you'd like some leather seats in your starter ship. Then for 338k, we've got the LN, the Legionnaire, so this is the even more pew-pew version of the Aurora. And then finally we've got the CL, and this is for 487.6k. This has got 6 SCU of cargo space, so you can actually do a little bit of hauling with this cargo variant. At 135.5k, from Astra Armada is the Kruger P-52. So this is the snubcraft for the Connie series. It doesn't have a QT drive, so it can't get very far on its own, but it's actually a capable fighter. 172k will get you into the mining game with the Greycat Rock, so this can tackle some of the bigger gem deposits on planets and moons. It's a really good place to start sort of understanding how the mining loop works in Star Citizen. For 176.5k you can get the Rock's big brother, the Rock DS. It's a two-man vehicle, but some would argue that its bigger size and the fact that you need 2 people actually makes it a worse ship. So with 4.5k difference, I'll let you be the judge of that. The Argo MPUV cargo, recently crowned sort of best in show, 224.2k. So a lot of the gameplay loop around this ship isn't in yet, because it's meant to sort of have arms and be effectively the forklift of Star Citizen. And it's got a brother ship as well, the MPUV Personnel. That's for moving people, probably from like a space station to a bigger sort of capital ship like the Idris. For 251k, we've got the first of the Mustangs, the Mustang Alpha. So this is really the other option for a starter package in the lowest price camp. Whereas the Aurora is sort of a motorhome, the Mustang is more a very entry-level fighter. So this really puts the armaments first, but no bed. The Beta is 404k. This has a very tight ability to sleep in, and is the Pathfinder variant of the Mustangs. The Gamma is the racing variant, that's 627.5k. This would probably be your first entry point into the racing game. And then we have the Delta for nearly 764k. This is the sort of most dedicated fighter of the Mustangs, but at this sort of price I'd look at other ships, to be honest. 272.7k will get you a Drake Dragonfly, and then immediately following that one we've got the other hover bike, the Aopoa Nox, sorry if I mispronounce any of this, for just under 350. Bikes don't have all that much use at the moment, but they are incredibly fun, although most of my trips out on these end in a fiery ball of death, if I'm completely honest. Next up, we're back to the ground vehicles with the Anvil Ballista for just nearly 365k. This is an anti-aircraft platform, so we hadn't seen too many uses of the Anvil Ballista, but recently with the sort of Jumptown Halloween event, I did see some people using these really effectively to lock down a ground site versus aerial. At 406k we've got the Pisces. This is the snubcraft sort of designed to fit with the Carrack and go into the hangar. And particularly with sort of medical gameplay coming in, sort of I can see a real use for these to go and like get someone from a ship where you don't necessarily want to move in your Carrack. At 574.5k we've got the Origin 85X. This is more of a luxury craft from Origin, designed to be paired with the 890 jump. So it's not got a particularly great armament or anything, but I think the key selling point is the cockpit, which offers great views, so probably more a touring vehicle. At 546k we've got the Tumbril Nova, the tank of Star Citizen. And again, while the ground game isn't fully fleshed out in the game at the moment, sort of these can be great to get together with a few friends and have a bit of a tank battle. Then at 654k we start with the Origin 100 series, so the 100i. This is really into sort of advanced starter territory. So this offers a bed, and it's just a very sleek ship. I'm not sure it's necessarily worth the real world cash, but it does look really cool. And it's a great one for just getting quickly sort of on and off planets. We've got the 125A for 791k. This is the sort of Pathfinder exploration variant of the 100 series. And then we've got the 135C for 839k. A bit similarly to the Aurora CL, this has got 6 SCU of cargo space, so offers you sort of a way into the cargo game. Though probably with those capacities, like drug running, that sort of thing will be your main bread and butter. 744.7k will buy you a MISC Reliant core. This to me is sort of, this Reliant series is really underrated. They're really interesting ships and particularly sort of have one of the coolest sort of little landing gear animations, and tells the story of sort of alien influence on MISC designs with their partnership with the Xi'an. This is one of the things I love about the ships in Star Citizen, you know, you can really feel the flavour of different manufacturers. And the Mako for 780k is actually the reporting variant of the Reliant series, so it's got space in the back for people to be sending broadcasts back. The Sen is the science variant, so science isn't fully developed, but we've got sort of some science ships with the stations on board the Sen. And finally, the Tanner is the more combat-focused version of the Reliant series, 870k, and actually quite a capable little fighter as well. The Origin 300 series, sort of the big brothers of the 100 series, start at 767.2k with the 300i. So this is again sort of in advanced starter territory really. So you've got some less cramped living quarters in the back, and you can also take 8 SCU of cargo. So this is a pretty capable little ship with 3 size 3 weapons, but mostly sort of it's a bit of a luxurious starter cruiser ship. We then move up to the 315p. This is the Pathfinder version of the 300 series. It's got a tractor beam and searchlight which replace the sort of weapon on the nose, so only 2 guns on this one, but it does also carry 12 SCU of cargo, so a bit more for bringing stuff back from the fringes. And then the third ship in this series is the 325A. This is the Interceptor for 944k. Interestingly, this was my first ever pledge for Star Citizen back in 2014. This was the ship that got me to buy the game. So that nose gun's a size 4, so you've got 1 size 4 and 2 size 3s to offer you a bit more pew-pew than its smaller brothers. The Titan kicks off the Avenger series at 785.6k, and this is a really cool ship. So size 4 nose gun and 2 size 3s on the wings, so it's got the same equipment as the 325A that we just looked at. But it's for a couple of 100k less than that ship. Also has the benefit that the wings aren't as prone to getting shot off, losing you some of your weapons. If people really twist my arm into recommending something to spend a bit more money on, then I suggest the Titan. So in the back we've just got space for cargo, and that's where the Avenger series tend to differ. Sort of it's basically the same chassis, but then you get a different sort of internal in the back. So the Stalker is the bounty hunting variant, and that's got some capsules for sort of bounties that you'll capture in the future when you need to take people back alive to maximise your bounty hunting rewards. The Consolidated Outland Nomad, 952.8k. The ship really divides opinion. It's effectively the pickup truck of the Star Citizen universe, offering a fairly decent cargo capacity on a flatbed that folds down at the back. And you can even get sort of a rock mining vehicle into it. I think the biggest problem is that sort of in price terms, both in-game and sort of for real money, it falls very close to the Drake Cutlass Black, which we'll look at in the next video. It does have a really cool sort of interior, however, with a decent sort of space for the bed and some limited cooking facilities for when sort of those survival mechanics are more in the game. And the final ship under $1 million, the Anvil Arrow at 972k. I spent an awful lot of time in the seat of one of these. It was my go-to fighter. Sort of it's a nimble glass cannon basically. Unfortunately took a bit of a nerf, so you used to be able to put an extra size 3 weapon on the roof, but now you're stuck with the 2 size 1 turret. So I think that sort of limits the potential of this ship a little bit compared to when I flew it on a daily basis. However, it's still really cool, even if the meta's moved on, and I'm a big believer in the rule of cool when it comes to which ships you fly in SC. So that was all of the ships available to buy in-game for under 1 million credits. Just in order to keep these videos sort of a watchable length, I'm going to split this up into 3. So the next video, which hopefully I'll have ready to release in the next day or 2, will cover all the ships above 1 million but under 3.5 million. And then finally we'll have one video covering all the ships over 3.5 million. It will just help people sort of navigate to the one they're interested in a bit more without having to skip through something which ends up being an hour long. Also, as I mentioned a bit earlier, sort of new ships will be added to the shops every patch. So basically this will be everything up to 3.15, and then probably what I'll do if not too much changes is I'll just sort of add in a video each patch to the playlist, just detailing anything which has gone up and down in price and any of the prices on the new ships which have been added. So if you found that useful and you think I've earned it, then consider hitting subscribe to the channel. It does really help me out. I'm still blown away by how quickly this channel has grown. So big thanks to everybody who's watched the video, liked, subscribed, shared with their grandma. But with all that said, thank you very much for watching all the way to the end, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.